Okay, continuing on with our series about the hiring process and achieving personal fit within the organization. I want to talk now about somewhat of a touchy subject, or a subject that can be in some ways offensive or taboo, and that is the hurdles to achieving personal fit. Well, generally we as individuals, we have prejudices, we have biases that are generally formed from past experience. One of my favorite quotations was from Albert Einstein. He said that our understanding of common sense is nothing more than a collection of our prejudices that we typically establish at a young age, or by the age of 18. Well, if you think about it, we all have these conscious and unconscious beliefs, suppositions that we make about other people, and in many ways these stereotypes can help us when they're positive heuristics that we use to make decisions, but in other times they can cause us to make negative decisions and can cause us to treat others wrongfully, to prejudice them in our decision making, because we make again, these suppositions about them based on some factor. Okay, where do we get these beliefs or these suppositions about others? It's from our past experience and our relationships. You've probably heard that old cliche that you don't change the devil changes you. Well, that same goes in the positive context, that you begin to become like those around you. Their beliefs tend to become your beliefs, and it's very difficult to change after that once you've established that firmly and you've built so much other beliefs off of these fundamental tenets that you've acquired from friends, family, personal relations, your community, the laws that were in place at a given time, even to the point of the impressions that you were given from companies, the advertising that was done, the perceptions that were created about a certain product or individuals of a certain type or class, etc. So again, all of these become part of our psyche, part of our way of thinking and how we interact with others. Okay, a positive aspect there is that these impressions that we have, these initial beliefs, are overcome by actual interaction with the individual. Once you have contact with the individual, you can overcome these initial biases or prejudices that you have simply by someone's appearance, someone's way of speaking, someone's approach or thought process, their political party, their religion, their nationality, etc. Again, so once you start to deal with these individuals personally, then again those prejudices tend to go away, and you start to judge a person more based on what they present to you at that time, the signals that they give you, which leads us naturally to, if we understand that naturally these predispositions exist, we can, as individuals who know that they exist, either consciously or subconsciously, hopefully when they're negative, only subconsciously if they exist at all, there are techniques to overcome them, to achieve personal fit in spite of them. Like we said, having that level of interaction with someone, again, takes away from the assumptions that they have, the conclusions that individuals jump to simply by seeing us or reading something about us, etc. So this word has a negative connotation in many respects, but to assimilate in some way to the person you're around. We all have the tendency to do that, or at least the most effective communicators have the tendency to do that, that they scope their communication, their oral and physical presentation based on their audience. So the better that they understand the individual that they're speaking with, they're better able to scope their message to be more convincing, to be more appealing in any way, shape, or form. So if you can do that, and it requires using all of your senses to recognize about someone what they are like, so you can at least present yourself in a manner that's most common to that so they will start to, so through that interaction they will overcome any natural biases or prejudices that they have, so that they will arrive to a level of belief that there's mutual understanding, beliefs, values, goals, objectives, interests, personality, etc. That it'll take one step closer to what we've been talking about, achieving that level of fit. And to do that, consider all things that you're interacting with that individual: gender, race, religion, interest, political point of view, word choice, your accent that you have, your clothing choices, the topics of conversation, the depth of conversation that you're willing to go to, how energetic you are, and how many questions you ask versus how long you talk in sequence without letting the other person talk. All of these things that you recognize about someone else, while some things are demographic things that you obviously can't assimilate to, but you can obviously assimilate on the actions, the things like accent, word choice, sentence structure, communication style, dress, appearance, things like that, that you can downsize. And not that you want to in any way negate the importance of individuality, but downplaying negative stereotypes that may be associated with a certain way of speaking, a certain speech pattern, a certain way of dressing, etc., will help again to dispel some of the beliefs or worries that the individual has. Now, while it's in many ways it's sad that an employee has to do this to be successful, but the reality of the situation is it is there, and an effective communicator is generally able to overcome these things. And in the same way, when you are communicating or transmitting your value proposition as a potential new employee, you'll have to deal with that as well, and you'll have to be a salesman for your personal attributes, and in a way the ability to recognize those attributes that would demonstrate commonality with the other person, and then in some way demonstrate a level of assimilation towards them, will make you a more effective candidate for a job position during the interview, during the interaction, during the pre-screening process.